Hello Tube Dwellers and welcome. I'm the Arcadean and this is Mabinogi Duel. So I got back from Portugal late last night and I'm still feeling a little bit rough from the trip, so if I'm a space case this morning, bear with me. Today we are featuring a budget PvP deck featuring that spookiest of fellows, the Skeleton Knight. This deck is very cheap to build and very easy to run, but it packs an awful lot of punching power. So let's take a look. Up first, we have the Leopard, a standard one-cost creature. You could replace that with the Gold Mutant Hyena King if you have it. Next is the Ambush Vine, again, one-cost green creature, and sits in your grave. Very surprising for your opponents, they don't know what you've placed. Next up, Skeleton, again, one-cost creature, no big deal. Arrow of Revenge is there to place pressure on our opponents and to deal some surprise damage that they may not be anticipating. Heavy Offering to take care of any one-turn elephants or elves that may appear, as well as to disrupt board later on in the game. Goblin Shredder, working as a more offensive variant of the Goblin Bomb Squad. This guy can output an awful lot of damage, especially to nature creatures. Very handy to have. Then we have Hunt, 2-cost removal card, always have those in there. And Forest Fire, we need an AoE, so Forest Fire it is. We don't really have any green creatures that we're worried about taking out, so Forest Fire works out well for us and not so good for our enemies. Next we have Eagle, very useful utility card, slap it down, it'll hopefully either outright kill one of your opponent's creatures, or it will at least deal enough damage to it that it can be taken out by other means. Then we have Betrayal, a little bit of board control, and again it allows us to output some surprise damage. We need Betrayal in this deck because we don't really have any way of dealing with the big creatures beyond capture, and sometimes capture is not the best option. Next up, we have the Skeleton Knight, the card around which the deck is built. Very powerful card, 4 cost at level 1, and you're basically summoning 2 creatures, because even if your opponent kills the Skeleton Knight, he'll just resummon himself as a skeleton, whilst at the same time putting the Skeleton Knight into the graveyard, allowing you to resurrect him and place him on the field again, next to his spawned skeleton, if you want to. Very, very useful card to have. And then finally, Capture. Again, just for those big creatures, Doom Machines and so on and so forth that we may want off the board, or literally just to get somebody out of our way so that we can land the finishing blow. So as I say, very simple deck. You can construct it with, basically most of it is cards that you can get from the starter packs, really, and the rest of them are quite cheap to find in the player stores. So cheap and easy, but let's see how well it does in a fight, shall we? Okay, first fight against Typhoon, PvP first Dan. Alright, using the neutral hero. Always cool. Alright, so he's using green, light, and dark. That could mean anything, so we'll just play down our Leopard and see what he answers with. He's thinking about it. Answers with the Vampire. Okay, alright, an interesting idea. In that case, we are going to use the Heavy Offering, because unfortunately for him, Vampire brings his health up to 8. So that takes care of that for less cost than he took to cast the Vampire. Very nice. Scholar. Well, Professor, rather. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so he's basically just blocking me and trying... Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll discard that. Yeah, okay, so he's ramping up to level 2. The Professor will in fact kill the Leopard before we kill the Professor. We'll level up to 2 as well, because we can't do anything else. And let's see, he is going to do what? Oh, Alron. Okay. So the Ambush Vine comes out, but that doesn't really help us very much, because Alron's not really an offensive threat. We don't care too much about that. But he takes it out with a surprise attack. Okay. Alright, well, then we can use the Forest Fire to clear out both the Professor and Alron. Unfortunately, he's already hit... he's already able to level up to 3. So we can't stop that. But we can stop him from flooding the field. Alright, we'll place a skeleton just to provide a little bit of pressure because he's running a bit low on resources. Now he might answer with a spell and then level up. Oh, he answers with Lilith in Meria. Okay. Alright, she's actually pretty powerful. That's fine. The ambush vine will push our skeleton out of the way, allowing him a free shot on the hero, which is always nice. Unfortunately, Lilithan's ability doesn't really isn't affected by paralysis, so we're going to have to use a hunt to remove her. And yes, the Arrow of Revenge as well, just to get us that little bit extra experience that we're going to need to level up to 3 next turn. Alright, so at 251, there's not an awful lot he can answer with. Unless he's doing something weird like, well, tricky, like bringing up Norperia. Summon Interrupting Bomb, Light Mutant. Wow, okay. So, kind of an anti-rush deck, really, on his part. And then the Cell Soul, which won't hurt him, but will give him 4 darkness. Alright, that's fine then. So we'll just charge because there's nothing we can really do at the moment, and we don't want to be offensive with our resources as low as they are. We want to see what he's going to do first, and then we can answer it. Looks like he has the same idea, though. Yeah, okay, so he's just charging up. Alright, well, we don't really have anything to play at the moment anyway, so we'll charge, we'll revive from the grave in order to get our hand full again, and then charge up again and get a little bit of health back, thankfully, thanks to Skull's ability. Succubus Shemi. Okay, normally if you're running Succubus, you'd run it with like a Death Cloud, but he doesn't have the resources for a Death Cloud at the moment, so we have a few potential choices here. Her damage is actually way too large, though, so we're going to hunt that, which puts us into a better resource position than he's in. We'll charge up there and again, and then we'll just see what he does. So we are now leading in terms of resources. He brings out Aileron again. Okay, unfortunately we don't have enough for a capture. And Cell Soul again. Okay. Alright, well, we don't have enough for a capture, but we can place a Skeleton Knight down there to output more damage than the Aileron will. We'll betrayal her onto our side of the field so that she'll spawn 2 vines for us before she spawns them for our opponent. I told you I was a bit of a space case this morning. Okay, so the vampire's going to take the Skeleton Knight's health. That's unfortunate. It means we can't kill him. But the vines are coming out, and that's going to be very nice for us. Alright, so we're running a little bit low on resources again. And there's no game-winning plays here. So we'll charge, get some health back, which is very nice. Thank you, Scald. Charge game, but no health from that one. And, yeah, just charge again a 3rd time. We'll see what he does. So Aileron outputs a little bit of damage. Skeleton Knight deals a little bit to the vampire, nothing major, and yeah, okay. That's fine. Her vines block our vines, but our vines will kill hers, so it's kind of neutralizing each other, but we come out of it at the other end with more creatures still. Professor again. I'm not really sure what the reasoning was behind that, unless it was just attempting to output some more damage quickly. Still, that's fine. Let's see. Okay, so we're actually doing pretty good here. We will drop the ambush vine in, and we will fire off the eagle. Discard the eagle. Not fire off. Discard the eagle, and that way we can pull Aileron onto our side of the field. Good. Okay, so at this point, he's in an awful lot of trouble. His vampire's going to... Well, actually, I thought that the vampire would have killed the skeleton as well, but actually, the skeleton has way more hit points than I thought he did. So, the skeleton's going to kill the vampire. We completely block his side of the field at this point, so, yeah, I mean... I think we're in a pretty solid defensive position. Alron's not outputting any damage, but she doesn't need to. Her vines will do that for us. We'll just charge up. And, yeah, revive back into the grave, from the grave. And see what he does. So we have enough damage on the board to deal fatal, but he does have a significant amount of resources. So, yep, that's smart, blocking the highest damage creature on the field. However, with the 2 vines plus Arrow of Revenge, we've got a guaranteed kill. So, yeah, I was going to say, unless he did something like charged into green and got the healing off Scald, there's nothing he can do. So, Arrow of Revenge goes out. We charge up a couple of times. And there we go. We kill him with his own vines. Always hilarious. All right, second fight. All right, fight number 2 against a PvP second Dan. All right. So this guy's been through the Master Duels. That's always nice to see. And he starts out gold, green, and darkness. All right. Interesting. We will open up with an ambush vine then and see what he does. He's thinking about it. He's not sure if we've dropped an ambush vine or a hidden spider. So wild boar. Okay. You don't see wild boar very much these days. Although it used to be a staple way, way, way back when. So that's fine. Question is, do we want to remove the boar? And I think we do. So it's an even enough trade, but it means that we get damage off. We get to level up to level 2 now. And, of course, every bit of damage that we output means that he'll have less health when he levels up. Okay, so we'll charge up because our ambush vine is doing perfectly fine out there on the field. No big deal. Giving us a nice quantity of resources. So let's see what he's got up his sleeve. A surprise attack, nature -1. Good lord. Okay. Interesting. All right, well, that was still a 2-cost removal spell to remove a 1-cost. Goblin Chieftain. Okay. Ambush Vine just comes right back out again and paralyzes. The Chieftain doesn't really help us, but it doesn't... Okay, now this is interesting because what we have here is 6 empty slots on the field. So if we throw out the Heavy Offering, out goes the Demon Calamus. Now, Demon Calamus recently got a change so that every time it absorbs an enemy, it does increase its attack value. However, we'll just block that for the moment with the skeleton while we let it build up. We've got enough gold now that, unless something surprising happens... Oh, and he removed the Chieftain. That's excellent. We've got enough gold now that unless something surprising happens, what we can do is we can actually let the Calamus build up its attack value, and then we can betray it into dealing a lot of damage for us. So let's see. Yeah, he's probably not sure whether or not to leave it be. Okay, so that's fine. He spent more to remove the skeleton than it cost us to play it. It means the Calamus does get a shot off, but so it goes. Goblin Shredder wouldn't really help us. We do kind of want to keep this Calamus charging up a little bit more. The question is, do we want to take the hit? And I think we probably do. So we'll level up, and his ability will actually help him out in the short term, but it'll help us out in the long term. We're playing the long game here. All right, so Calamus is now as charged up as it's going to be. It's going to deal, a fairly significant amount of damage to us. However, what we can do now is we can betray it, bring it onto our side of the field. It's an immediate, 16 damage for us, taking him down to low HP value, meaning that if he doesn't answer the ambush vine, he's in a significant amount of trouble. And at this point, with 4 HP on his side, he's got to play extremely defensively. He doesn't have enough resources to bring Goblin Chieftain back out. He might have a Dark or Peria that could bring out the... Magic Core Bomb. Okay. Might have had a Dark or Peria to bring the Goblin Chieftain back out. But... it looks like he didn't. And he's just taken himself down into Arrow of Revenge range. Which is nice for us. So off goes the Arrow of Revenge. And once again, that little arrow deals... allows us to win the game. Good fight. And that was the Skeleton Knight deck. If you'd like to copy this deck directly into your game, there's the share code up in the top right hand corner. I hope you enjoyed playing with it as much as I did. And as always, thank you to everyone for watching, and a special thank you to everybody who's subscribed so far. Until next time, have fun and good luck.